LPBW. Here's the first thing Amy Roloff and Chris Marek did upon their return from an 18-day motorcycle trip. Hello viewers, I am Alana. Welcome back to my channel. USA Daily History for Roloff family latest news update. Please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. Little people, big world couple Amy Roloff and Chris Marek recently returned from an 18-day motorcycle trip and shared the first thing they did upon arriving home in Oregon. Amy has become much more adventurous since she's been with Chris, an avid motorcycle rider. Often take trips together on Chris' bike, and Amy loves to share their adventures with her millions of followers on social media. Recently, Amy and Chris loaded up and headed north to Canada, where they visited Hudson's Hope in British Columbia, the Bavarian village of Leavenworth, Washington, the Yukon Territory, and historic downtown Skagway, Alaska. Upon their return, Amy took to her Instagram stories, where she shared a little about their trip and what she and Chris planned to do as soon as they arrived home. First, she shared a couple selfie of herself and Chris flexing their arms as they posed for the pic in front of Chris' motorcycle. Amy captioned it, "We did it! 18 days later we're back home. What a whirlwind, amazing motorcycle trip. The minute we came into the Portland area, allergies hit me." Next, Amy shared the first thing she and Chris planned to do since her allergies were bothering her. She recorded a video for her followers, explaining her and Chris' plans upon returning to the Beaver State. "Chris and I just got back from our 18-day motorcycle trip, and guess what the first thing I'm gonna do?" Amy asked her followers. "'Cause that's almost like 2.5 weeks. Wash our sheets and have a nice, fresh, clean bed to sleep in. We are so excited. So, that's my first thing that I will be doing since we've been back." Oh, brothers! LPBW viewers watched Amy and Chris tie the knot in a beautiful ceremony before friends and family on Roloff Farms last August. Since getting hitched, the duo says married life has been good to them. "Well, I think it's treating us great. It feels comfortable, it feels new. I keep learning about Chris and each other and, stuff, and we keep adjusting, and he'll say compromising about their marriage." For his part, Chris said they're still working through some minor hiccups, but all in all, they're in a happy place since becoming Mr. and Mrs. Marek. "Well, so far, no big surprises or anything that I wasn't prepared for," Chris added. "There's obviously still a little bit of a learning curve going on, but we're enjoying life, we're having fun." Little people, big world viewers weigh in on Amy and Chris visiting Matt and Karen in Arizona. Matt Roloff and his girlfriend Karen Chandler invited his ex-wife Amy Roloff and her husband Chris Marek to join them for a trip to Arizona, and little people, big world viewers weighed in. Matt and Amy Roloff divorced in 2016 after nearly 30 years of marriage. Since their split, Matt has been dating his longtime girlfriend and former Roloff Farms employee, Karen Chandler. Amy has since remarried and is enjoying newlywed life with Chris Marek. On the last episode of LPBW, Amy and Chris revealed to their neighbors during dinner that Matt and Karen invited them to Arizona to visit, and they had accepted the offer. "We've got a trip coming up," Chris said during dinner. "We don't have the dates figured out yet, but we're going to Arizona for a week to visit the other Roloff." When Amy and Chris' neighbor Brandy confusingly asked questions, Chris explained that the offer was a wedding gift from Matt and Karen. It still shocked their friend, however, who couldn't believe Amy would agree to visit her ex-husband for a week. Chris played it off as an opportunity to see his buddy, Matt's other house. One LPBW viewer noted how Chris often speaks highly of Matt and their bond. "Ick. I think Chris has something for Matt. It's just entirely too cringe watching how he talks about him." Another felt that Chris was taking advantage of his fame from LPBW and commented, "Chris is an opportunist all the way." The notion came across as weird and inappropriate to another critic who commented, "I think it's weird and inappropriate to give them a wedding gift to visit them in Arizona. If you're giving them plane tickets, it should be a destination they pick." "I can understand being civil for the kids, but Amy does not genuinely like hanging with them and Chris should quit pushing it," voiced another disgruntled viewer. "You have other friends." Matt and Amy divorced for a reason, and it was not a friendly split. Amy was quite bitter. "Chris, stop." Despite her reluctance, Amy has been a good sport and gone along with Matt and Chris' ideas, which have included hanging out together as couples. Although Matt and Chris claim they simply and enjoy many of the same things, LPBW viewers have joked that the two, Amy Roloff on what she learned from her first marriage and why she chose to wed on her ex's farm, exclusive. Roloff Farms wasn't always an absolute no, regardless. It was on the back burner, a plan B type of thing, because we did have other places where we were looking at. And then by the time we picked a date, those other places went by the wayside. So, Roloff Farms rose to the top. But, to Chris's credit, he really helped me see it in a different perspective. Amy admitted of having their wedding on the family farm she shared with her ex, Matt Roloff. I mean, I've raised my kids there. I've been on that farm for many, many years, but it's also where we met. It's also where our relationship grew and became what it was. So to solidify it, and start our married life with our wedding there, and then going off into the sunset, makes sense. I think the one thing that I was very happy and very proud of and definitely hung on to, well, two things maybe. Number one was my faith, but number two was so many women can look down upon themselves that they're not worthy, she shared. They're not good enough. Something must have been wrong or whatever the reason may be, and I came out of it. It's something that broke. It's something that didn't work out, but I'm still good. I'm a good person. I have a heart. Something got lost along the way, but to end a relationship like that in the public eye and still come out. I'm okay with just me. If I never have that opportunity to find someone, I'm good with me. I like being with me. Through their journey, Chris has also integrated and been accepted into the big, extended Roloff family, something he said he's so grateful for. I enjoy being a part of that family, and I'm so grateful that they've all seemed to accept me. Chris gushed. I just look forward to the years ahead, just getting closer and growing together. Amy initially worried that her kids and grandkids wouldn't like the man she chose to move on with, so having them love and accept Chris is the cherry on the cake for her. For me, it's just like the cherry on the cake and everything, because being divorced and hoping one day I would find that special someone. I wanted to be somewhat prepared and mentally prepared, that I may love someone, but it won't be guaranteed that my kids will like who their mom chose or the grandkids and stuff, she shared. My heart is just overflowing with such thankfulness and love that over the 5 years that we've been dating and knowing each other, the kids have been able to get to know Chris and know mom's going to be okay. She picked a great guy. And for them to be so accepting of him, and embracing him within the family and everything. I'm overjoyed, really, because family and my kids are everything to me. With their new special, the newlyweds are looking forward to reliving their big day and sharing their love story and the growth of their relationship and their family with the world. I hope what people see throughout this whole thing is a love story. This is my second one, and this is Chris's first, but I think just the growth of our relationship, through the episodes and prior seasons and now being able to be part of this wedding special, Amy explained. I just hope they see a love story that has grown, has solidified, and I don't know, just happy. We all know relationships take work, but it's so worth it. See their love story unfold when Little People, Big World, Amy and Chris's Happily Ever After premieres November 9th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on TLC. LPBW, Amy Roloff and Chris Marek take little baby steps and buy a pet fish together. Amy calls it a big move. On next week's episode of Little People, Big World, Amy Roloff and her fiancé Chris Marek buy their first pet together after Chris's fish Henry died. New sneak peek at next week's episode of LPBW showed Amy and Chris sharing an important milestone as a couple when they purchased their first pet together. When Chris moved into Amy's new house earlier this season, he was sure to bring Henry along. Henry died, however, and Amy and Chris felt they needed to replace him with a new fish in their new home, so they arrived back home from the pet store holding the new fish in its container. This feels so important. Chris's fish, Henry, unfortunately passed away, Amy confessed to the cameras. So, we went to the store to pick out a new fish, and we're bringing it home. Amy began taking pictures of the new fish in its new home and said, "This is our first pet that we've picked out together, and so that's really exciting. So now we're going to put him in his new home, in his new tank." Amy and Chris's new fish resisted going into his new home, however, and it took some maneuvering by Chris to properly get the fish into its tank. As Amy took pictures of her and Chris's new pet, Chris told her, "I dubbed him King Henry." Just Henry to his friends. Amy gushed over having their first pet together and put her arm around Chris for a hug as the two smiled and looked at their new fish. Chris was sure to give Amy's dog, Felix, some attention and told him, "Don't get jealous, little buddy. You're still number one in this house." During their confessional, Chris talked about the underlying significance of him and Amy buying a fish together. It's one of those many little baby steps we've been taking together that couples or life partners do together, so this is just one of those things, buying a pet together, Chris revealed. But Amy thought it wasn't just baby steps and told the cameras. "I think it's a big move for him." Amy and Chris are set to tie the knot next month, with only 5 more weeks until they say, "I do." After Matt offered Roloff Farms as their venue, Chris and Amy agreed and are Although Matt was generous enough to offer the farm to his ex-wife and her fiancé, it doesn't mean he wants to physically be a part of their big day. In fact, Matt and Karen were to not have to attend Amy and Chris's wedding, not gonna attend Amy's wedding. We didn't need to have that complication. We're like, thank you very much for offering. Not that they did, but earlier this season. He added, get the place ready, but then we can kinda get out of the way. Amy doesn't exactly want Matt to attend her big day either. Although the exes have made strides in being cordial with each other, Amy said that her and Matt's where she would want Matt at her wedding. LPBW, Amy Roloff teases Hawaii as her and Chris Marek's honeymoon destination, shows off Halloween costumes. Little people, Big World matriarch Amy Roloff is still a part of pumpkin season at Roloff Farms, and she showed off this year's Halloween costumes and hinted at her honeymoon destination. When Amy moved off the farm after living there for nearly 30 years to raise her family, it was unclear whether she would still take part in pumpkin season. Amy has become a familiar face during pumpkin season at Roloff Farms, greeting customers in her variety of costumes every year in October. On Friday, October 8th, Amy took to her Instagram feed to share several pics from Roloff Farms so far this season. Pumpkin patch. Nothing like going to a pumpkin patch in the fall, Amy captioned her post. The cool crisp air, crunch of leaves, pumpkins, wagon ride, activities, and so much more. It was a fantastic start last weekend at the farm. I always have a great time meeting all of you that come to the farm this time of year. Thank you, the LPBW matriarch continued. Amy added, and what a fantastic reason to dress up in costume each day. I hope to see many of you this weekend. For more info, check out www.rolofffarms.com for more info, times, and to make a reservation. It's a good fun family time outing. Woo-hoo and boo. Amy concluded her caption in one pic. Amy sported a cheerleading costume as she posed in front of the famous Roloff Farm sign where guests can partake in a photo op with the LPBW stars. Amy's husband, Chris Marek, joined her for a pic and also a video that showed Amy donning her Hawaiian hula dancer costume, complete with a grass skirt, coconut shell bra, and a lei around her neck. As Amy hula danced in front of Chris in one slide, she told the camera, "We're thinking Hawaii for our honeymoon." As a mystery female behind the camera added, woohoo. Amy also showed off some of her Halloween costumes from this year, and just like every other year's costumes, she didn't disappoint. The 57-year-old mom of four's cheerleading costume looked authentic, in a black, white, and red top and skirt with matching pom-poms. And yet another slide, Amy showed off her Wonder Woman costume, complete with a shield and matching gold headband, wrist cuffs, and belt. Confirmed her participation during pumpkin season this year when he said during a confessional, after taking a step back last year, I'm glad she'll be more involved this year. Why mom's almost the face of pumpkin season in a way, showing her presence and saying hi to everyone. And it's just a big part of a lot of people's experience, Zach said of his mom. Amy also shared a pic to her Instagram stories of herself donning her Hawaiian costume while Chris smiled on from a nearby bench. More of a honeymoon vibe November. We can't wait, Amy told her fans. Roloff Farms on Saturday, August 28th after a 2-year-long engagement. The couple didn't depart for their honeymoon directly after their wedding, as most newlyweds do. It's possible that the timing of her wedding so close to pumpkin season had something to do with her decision to wait to go on her honeymoon. As Matt told his fans this year, September is the busiest month for Roloff Farms because of all of the prep work to get ready for pumpkin season. Amy did, however, that should be airing soon on TLC. In August, just days before her wedding, Amy told her fans during an Instagram story, "You'll get to see that on the wedding special that'll air here in about, I don't know, a couple months." Stay tuned to find out when Amy and Chris's wedding special will air and see if Amy provides more details about her and Chris's upcoming honeymoon. LPBW star Amy Roloff explains why she chose to hyphenate her married name. Little people, Big World star Amy Roloff revealed that she chose to hyphenate her married name and explained why to her fans. LPBW viewers have been curious whether Amy Roloff chose to take her husband Chris Marek's surname ever since Amy has identified as Amy Roloff professionally, even following her divorce from Matt Roloff in 2016. This is often common practice, often by those in the public eye whose fans are familiar with a certain name, and also for legal reasons, as it involves a lot of time and work to change one's name legally. During a recent Instagram Live with her BFF Lisa, Amy addressed questions from curious LPBW viewers. One question that pops up quite a bit in comments on social media is whether Amy chose to take on Chris' surname when they got married. Oh, it wasn't surprising when Amy addressed the topic during her live chat. Another question that I get a lot is a lot of people are saying, why doesn't she use her married name? And stuff like that, Amy began. I responded to a comment. I said I use my married name when it comes to legal stuff, or bank and personal business and all that stuff. It's Amy J. Roloff Marek. Next, Amy explained why she chose to keep Roloff in her surname. All of my kids are Roloff. My grandkids will be a Roloff until they marry or whatever it is. Roloff was my married name when I had all my kids and grandkids. I want to still be associated and tied to them, so that later on, these kids will still, feel like they're connected. So legally, my name is Amy J. Roloff Marek, Amy said. Amy said that she ran the notion by Chris, who LPBW viewers recently nominated a sand. He was very accepting of whatever she chose. I asked Chris, we talked about it. He goes, Amy, you do whatever you want. It doesn't matter to me, Amy shared. It makes sense that Amy would capitalize on her former name, Roloff, when it comes to her business ventures, as it's how her fans have come to know her over the last 16 years since LPBW first aired on TLC. The Roloff name has become a household name for many TLC viewers over the years, thanks to the show's long-standing success. Amy and Chris's Happily Ever After, Amy Roloff and Chris Marek's wedding special to premiere next month. Just like Little People, Big World star Amy Roloff promised her fans, she and her husband Chris Marek's wedding special will premiere next month, as previously reported by Monsters and Critics during an Instagram Live that her wedding special would be airing later this year. Amy's son Zach and his wife Tori, also earlier this year during an interview. When asked if the wedding will be televised, Zach answered, I think so. Yeah, I think before Tori added, stay tuned. Amy gave her fans correct information, as TLC has officially confirmed the special's premiere on Tuesday, November 9th at September 8th. The weeks leading up to the wedding were filmed, not just the actual wedding day itself, and showed just how hectic things got as Amy approached her wedding date. PBW viewers will watch as Amy accepts Matt's offer to get married on the farm, then stress over him next to the spot where she'll exchange vows. Amy also worries that Matt won't have the project done in time. Worried that her wedding site will look like Amy decides to take a girls' trip with her BFFs, Amy's 92-year-old father Gordon's health becomes a concern for the LPBW matriarch as she worries he won't be able to watch her walk down the aisle. As we previously reported, Amy's father from Michigan to Oregon to watch his daughter tie the knot. TLC's preview for the special on their official Instagram page shows a flashback to some scenes when Amy and Matt were still considering getting divorced. After their divorce, Amy explains in a voiceover how her friends encouraged her to get back on the dating scene and she was lucky enough to meet and fall in love with Chris. More flashbacks play of Amy and Chris's relationship developing and show how Chris helped Amy deal with leaving the farm after 30 years and buying her first home on her own. All of the memories Chris and Amy share will build up to next month's wedding special, which LPBW fans have been anticipating for months. Are Amy and Chris from Little People, Big World still together? Little People, Big World is a that explores the lives of the Roloff family, headed by parents Matthew, Matt Roloff and Amy Roloff, who have dwarfism. They have 4 kids: Zachary Zach Roloff, Jeremy J. Roloff, Molly Mole Roloff, and Jacob Jake Roloff, of whom only Zach has dwarfism. Since the show started in 2006, fans have avidly watched how the Roloffs navigate their lives. Though Matt and Amy were together for a significant chunk of the show, they got divorced in 2016. Later, viewers saw Amy in a romantic relationship with Chris Marek, who got married in August 2021. Naturally, fans are curious to know if Amy and Chris are together and how their journey has been so far. Luckily, we have all the answers you need. Despite the dynamic between Amy Roloff and her then-husband Matt Roloff, all was apparently not well within their marriage. The two apparently separated in 2014, and the divorce was finalized in May 2016. The split caused many fans distress, who had come to view the Roloff family close to their hearts. However, viewers were soon greeted with Amy's foray into singledom. During one of the episodes of Season 16 that aired in December 2016, Amy described how she met Chris Marek to her daughter Molly. I'm having a good time, Amy said. I had a couple of pool parties. I had like 40 people here. No, I probably had like 50 people here. Then this guy Chris that I met, he came to the party too. We got to talking and he invited me to go on a motorcycle ride. Oh, I'm having a ball. Later in Season 17, during a day out with her friends, the mother of 4 shared how she hadn't thought she'd ever be in a relationship with someone who does not have dwarfism. I just never thought someone who is average size would be interested in me, Amy admitted. She continued, I just really want him to never question or doubt the relationship because I'm a little person. The reality star gushed, "I just have a good time. I have fun with him. I never thought I'd be dating as a grandma, and it's nice to experience that and be